All right, shalom. I want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, Shema, Dash, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the occupy pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. You see the title of 11 lesson, This Ain't Living. You know, I have queued up, America's worst and ugliest, basically ghettos, hoods, and projects, that predominantly you blacks, as well as you Latinos and Native Americans live in. And a lot of you jakes be having that mentality that you're highly blessed and highly favored, not knowing that you're under the curses written of in the Bible in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, man. And even outside the Bible, you look at your everyday life, you can't see that you're cursed, especially you jakes that's in these extremely impoverished areas, man. The house next to you, it's a dope hole. The house on the other side, it's infested with children that's being neglected. You go out front and you see nothing but junkies asking you for money that you don't even have. And I'm talking about these extremely low income areas, man. Like I said, where majority of you jakes dwell, and then you go to these areas and it's traumatizing, man. And you see the status of how our people are living. Our people literally, as the saying goes, don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. And this COVID made it that much more worse. You go through these different parts in these different cities and throughout these different states within the United States of America, and majority of these places look like they got hit with a damn fucking nuclear missile, man. It looked like ruins. A lot of these cities look like they should have been just destroyed and evacuated decades ago. But see, that's how I say Esau. That's how Esau keeps you. Esau keeps you in a lower state, and he deprives you of everything, and he keeps these ghettos afloat. To push out narcotics, push out abundance of crack, cocaine, heroin, ecstasy. You know the list of these very, very, very adverse drugs that have adverse effects on the mind. So this is on Untitled.com. It says how America's ugly history of segregation changed the meaning of the word ghetto. I'm just gonna jump into a quick points. It was dated last year or 2019. But it says today, for many Americans, the word ghetto conjures images of rundown and crime-ridden African American segregated areas, inner cities, and a common euphemism. This connotation is relatively recent. It has only become mainstream in the past 70 years or so. Beforehand, the term was primarily associated with Jewish urban quarters, and its changing meaning illustrates the troubling tenacity of such an idea. Right, and I'm just going to keep going. The linkage between Jews and ghetto began in the early 16th century. In 1516, as a compromising offering to those agitated for the city to be Christian only, Venice confined its Jewish populations to a little island in the northern part of the city known as the New Ghetto. The name ghetto likely derived from the Venetian verb gerare, meaning to pour or to cast, and probably can be traced to the early presence of a copper foundry in what was to become the all-Jewish district. From the 16th to the 18th century, the institution of the legally compulsory and physically enclosed exclusive Jewish enclave spread to Rome, Florence, Mantua, and a host of other Italian towns and cities. The Venetian label stuck in these mandatory Jewish areas throughout Italy came to be called ghettos too, right? So the term ghetto was originally plastered on the so-called Jews, those Jew rats, and they basically pushed them out for the people. They were outcasts, all right? They were cast out, and they had to live in their own separate quarters, and they were being oppressed, highly oppressed, and nobody fits the bill, better than you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right? Because you've been pushed in these low-income areas in America, and you've been highly afflicted, all right? And like I said, this white man would deliberately plant drugs on you. I've seen cases. I know plenty of you blacks and Latinos that actually live in these quarters have seen cases of police brutality. You see, cops that'll plant drugs on so-called blacks to get their numbers up, to get a better pay, and they disregard Jake. They, here it is, you're putting a felony on this man's record, knowing he's gonna have to serve time, he's gonna have to get out, he's gonna have to get on parole, he's gonna have to get a PO and all these different things. He's already not making ends meet as it is, and now he's coming out of jail with a felony, all for these devils to have a better paycheck, man. To turn the 6-bedroom to a 7-bedroom, man. To turn the 4-bedroom into a 5-bedroom. The 3 baths into 4 baths, man. That's the greediness, and that's the devilish, nefarious nature of this white man. All right. Isaiah 42:22, because the scriptures speak best. Isaiah 42:22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. Right, and that hole represents the system, and also that hole represents these traps. All right. In Atlanta, in the state of Georgia, Jake has mainly embraced trap culture. Now, when you look up that definition of trap, that means to ensnare, to tightly enclose, basically, and to keep you, constricted. Nobody wants to be in a trap position. Whenever you're trapped, then you are. It's obvious that you cannot break free out of your own free will. All right. And they made these different income areas hard to actually come up, man. Because with low income areas is low income jobs. You don't have these different Jakes making $60,000-$70,000 a year, living in the ghettos. These Jakes are making 15, 22, 26 at the most. These, Jake will look at $26,000 a year as a high-end job, But outside of that, it's usually 20, 25 or 24,000 and lower, man. And those Jakes that can go a little bit above the cap, hit 30, 35,000. Majority of those Jakes are on drugs, man. A lot of them. I'm dealing with these ghettos and these project homes, man. All right. And then if they're not on drugs, then they're heavily alcoholic, because they're feeling the first-hand effects of oppression. Whether they want to pitch that bullshit around to other people in the area, talking about they're blessed and highly favored, and do a jigaboo dance, to make it seem like everything is everything. We know the truth, because a lot of us brothers came from these areas. All right, a lot of us brothers lived in these low income, impoverished areas where you disenfranchised, and your employee could talk shit about you. Everybody in the street, the cops can beat the living shit out you and just walk away. And you have nobody to represent you in these ghettos. All right. But that's why we have to turn to Yahweh Shema Bashar. We have to turn to the word, and we have to turn to it in sincerity and the truth. Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Verse 16, cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Right, and the field represents the world. It's a curse. I had actually queued up, which I'm going to get the scripture first. But I had queued up these different cities that, like I said, predominantly you blacks and Latinos are in. And these are the worst cities to live in the United States of America. And they're mainly in the cities. All right, they're not in the urban areas. They're not in the the suburban areas. They're not in the rural areas. It's basically the urban style of life, which urban lifestyle mainly springs from these different cities. All right, I'm gonna jump to a couple names. You got Arkansas, Fort Smith, number 50, Salt Lake City, Gainesville, Florida, which it's the spirit. We was talking about Gainesville, Florida the other night. That's a very effed up area. You got Atlanta, Georgia, and you see these different Jakes. They're killing each other left and right, man. No regard to life. Fighting for a cause that doesn't matter at the end of the day. You got Jakes fighting over damn colors, man. Red, blue, black, white, green, yellow. And if this man doesn't wear the color that you like, if he doesn't say something that's in your favor, he steps on your shoes the wrong way, you're likely to blow him away. That's not a community, man. That's not a true community. The word community deals with, individuals that's communing with one another. It was a time where you had blacks and Latinos that actually had true communities, all right? Where if you was down, you could actually go to your neighbor and get help, a true, organized, structured way of living. And also you Latinos in your in Mexico and Honduras, Belize, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Central South America, it's horrible, man. A lot of those women are getting killed. A lot of the older women are getting killed. A lot of children are getting killed. A lot of those sons are being raised up to be gang bangers and gang members, as well as the daughters being prostitutes and gang bangers, and they tote guns and they shoot down one another, chop each other up. It's a foul lifestyle, man. We got to get out of this place, man. All right, Tacoma, Washington. I'm gonna read a little bit more. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read the top 5, just to hit the point. If brothers want to go into it, of course you can look it up. They had Trenton on the list, Massachusetts, Springfield, Oakland. All these are effed up areas. Miami. And like I said, when you go to these areas, you see none but blacks that's just oozing out of these areas. Daytona Beach, Florida. All right. Compton, number 20. And Compton is notorious. Gary, Indiana, Pueblo, Colorado, Rockford, Illinois, Youngstown. I knew a Jake from Youngstown. Speaking about how bad it was, and like I said, these areas do be pretty jacked up. San Bernardino, here it is. The median home value was $240,000, but it's number 14 on the list as one of the worst places in the country, man. So money isn't even always the case. You see? Florence, California, Homestead, Florida, Connecticut, Milwaukee, Baltimore, Missouri, Albany, Georgia, number 7 down. Wilmington, Delaware, Cleveland, Memphis, Tennessee, St. Louis, Missouri, Flint, which Flint is, they ain't even got proper drinking water. The median home value is 20. That's the home value. 28,000. What the hell is that? That's not even a. You got new cars that came out. That's it's worth more than that. And then you see these areas. Jake ain't trying to live. Jake shouldn't be in these areas, man. In Detroit, Motor City, which Motor City got hit hard, and that's basically a place in ruins, man. Like I said, it looked like a vacant city. You'll see these different documentaries, and you'll watch Jake how they're living, and you be like, man, that's the closest thing to hell right there, man. And then you have a lot of men, their parents be strung out on heavy drugs, crack pipes all over the houses. Yeah, I'm talking about the out. When I was speaking about usually what's going on outside. What's going on inside leads a lot of these jakes to go outside, man. It'd be so much oppression within these different quarters that Jake live in that they're forced to get adopted by the streets, which is not any better. But Jake needs an outlet, and their outlet is drug and gang culture, and it's a high level of molestation that takes place in those cities too, man. A lot of men are getting molested by their uncles, and a lot of their parents, like their mother's father might have his father, certain men fathers left their area, and the mother is there, and she might be strung out on drugs, and the uncle might slip into the child's bedroom, man. Child might be as young as 8-7 years old, and he's funneling the child, and a lot of times these children will go to the parents about it, and the parents don't even damn listen, man. This ain't our rest, man. We got to get the hell up out of here. This is Leviticus 26:3. If you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then will I give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. And your threshing shall reach unto the vintage, and the vintage shall reach unto the sowing time, and ye shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land safely.
And this is if we were to follow the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, and that would be the positive reward. But if we were to break the laws, it would be repercussions and consequences. Verse 14, but if you will not hearken unto me and would do all these commandments, all right, I'm just going to jump to verse 16. I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and these cities and ghettos, man. It's nothing but terror that comes out of these areas, man. You see a woman in these certain areas, you might think that she's the one, and she might be setting you up to rob you. She might have sex with you, kiss on you, call you daddy, call you these sweet little names that's stroking your stroking your manhood, making you feel good in the inside, not knowing at the end of the day she's plotting to take you for everything, the little bit that you got. That's a crab in a bucket lifestyle. And if you do start to do good, if you're one of the innovative ones that have a little mind, head on his shoulders, and you start to prosper, and you dwell in the area, now you got jakes that's jealous of what you're making, of what type of lifestyle that you're living, and now they want to kill you. Crab in the bucket mentality. I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ague. Sicknesses. Our people are full of sicknesses, and that's predominantly within these hood regions, man. Let's deal with the diet. These gas stations are filled up with Jake eating nothing but Little Debbie's and cream pies, Reese's, Oreos, Hershey Kisses. And this is, I'm not just saying snacks, this is a breakfast for some. Jake might eat a couple of Twinkies and eat that shit for breakfast. Because when you're going back home, it's roaches all in the cereal, the milk is spoiled, and I got to paint the picture. Because a lot of people look at this as an ugly thing, but this is the true reality. It says that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart, and ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. Right. Anything that we try to produce is for the enemy's benefit, But this is the time where we have to raise up as a people, understand the conditions that we in, knowing and understanding fully that we in hell, and as it is written, the way of life is above to the wise in the book of Proverbs, so that he may depart from hell beneath. So this is just something I have for Akim. Hopefully brothers will edify. I'm going to end it by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto you. How about Shema, Shabbat, Shema, Kakodash, double honor to the apostle and elders, the great millstone. Shalom, Akim.